Are you feeling exhausted all the time, but you don't know why? Well, once you've ruled out there's no medical or physical cause for your exhaustion, it may be worth asking yourself, how much do I have saved in my energy bank account? Energy bank account? What is that? And if it's low, how do I make a deposit? Stick around and find out. Hi, I'm Hope. I'm the author of the book, The Creative Toolbox, a practical guide to discovering and using your creativity. And I love helping people explore intuition, creativity, and self-awareness for a freer, more conscious life. To help more people access this information, please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel. If you're someone who chronically has barely enough energy to get through the day and you've ruled out any medical or physical complication, it may be time to check the funds in your energy bank. Your energy bank is a metaphor for how you manage your personal energy. Typically, we make personal energy deposits by getting good sleep, eating well, and resting when we need to. We withdraw energy through our work, stress, and our daily tasks. Ideally, we want to be in balance with our personal energy deposits and withdrawals. But many of us can be chronically deficient in our energy funds. One common reason your energy bank account can be deficient is you have adopted a performance-based identity. What is a performance-based identity? It's a habit of determining your worth based on what you do, achieve, produce, or how well you meet others' expectations, instead of basing it on who you are as a person. This can cause mental and emotional drain. When you have a performance-based identity, you don't consider your identity your birthright. Instead, an identity is something that you must earn. This belief creates thoughts like, I'm valuable because I'm successful. People will only respect me if I'm competent. I need to keep proving myself. Or if I fail, I'm a failed person. So rather than seeing yourself unconditionally as a worthy person, your self-esteem rises and falls based on how you perform and the outcome that results. When you assume an identity based on performance, you may do things to keep up that identity regardless of whether it resonates with what you truly think or feel, such as acting like everything is under control when it isn't, hiding mistakes that would make you look less competent, saying yes to every request so you look like you are dependable, and avoiding vulnerability because it might make you seem weak. So your true self and performance-based self are increasingly divided. And maintaining this divide takes consistent and significant mental energy. This is because you must multitask to manage yourself. While you monitor how others see you, you are editing your words and behavior, pushing away emotions that don't fit your image, worrying about making mistakes, and trying to make your persona as consistent as possible. All this self-monitoring takes a great deal of mental and emotional energy, and over time, it can lead to mental fatigue, chronic stress, anxiety, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, emotional numbness, and burnout. For example, what if your performance-based identity is known as the reliable one? If you are exhausted today, instead of realizing, I need help, you think, reliable people don't need help. If I let anyone know I'm struggling, people will have a lower opinion of me. So instead of requesting the help you need, you take on even more responsibilities, act like you're fine, and hide your exhaustion. The additional work you take on is tiring enough, but the pretending makes it even more exhausting. People with a performance-based identity and people with an authentic identity can have very different viewpoints on achievements, self-worth, mistakes, approval, and energy. When it comes to achievements, someone with a performance-based identity may believe, I am what I achieve. Someone with an authentic identity may believe, achievements are something I do, not who I am. With a performance-based identity, worth depends on success. With an authentic identity, worth is separate from performance. With a performance-based identity, mistakes threaten identity. With an authentic identity, mistakes are opportunities to learn. With a performance-based identity, approval determines self-worth. With an authentic identity, values guide self-worth more than approval. With a performance-based identity, energy goes into maintaining an image. With an authentic identity, energy goes into meaningful action. So your energy cost is greater with a performance-based identity than an authentic identity. Because with a performance-based identity, energy isn't spent just doing your job well. It's also used to maintain a version of yourself that you feel is required to be accepted and validated. In addition to the action you take, energy is spent on self-monitoring, impression management, emotional suppression, fear of failure, and protecting an identity built on performance. If you assume your authentic identity, in which you accept yourself as separate from your achievements, you have residual energy to learn new things, connect with others, and recover from challenges. With an authentic identity, it's not that you don't work hard. You may even strive for excellence, but you don't have the energy demanding need to perform flawlessly that someone with a performance-based identity is likely to have. When you are your authentic self, this doesn't mean that you don't adjust to fit the situation you're in, but there is a difference between making an adjustment and masking or hiding your authentic self. When you're masking, you consciously or unconsciously conceal parts of yourself to prevent rejection, criticism, or exclusion from others. Essentially, you are protecting yourself by appearing more acceptable. Some examples include smiling when you're upset so others don't worry, pretending to enjoy conversations or situations that really exhaust you, agreeing with opinions that you really disagree with, suppressing your feelings because you've been told that your emotions are too much, and acting more extroverted, confident, or agreeable than you really feel. Masking frequently begins as a perceived survival strategy because of early experiences in which the person learns that certain parts of themselves are disapproved of or unacceptable to others. So the person begins hiding those parts. Masking takes a lot of energy because it requires that you constantly check your behavior. Remember which version of yourself different people expect. Conceal genuine emotional responses. Be on the lookout for signs of approval or disapproval from others, and be ready to correct yourself at any time. It's like an actor performing in a play all day, every day, without ever going off stage. Even when you give a good performance, being always on would be exhausting for anyone. Unlike masking, adaptation is when you adjust your behavior to fit a situation while you maintain your authenticity. The goal of adaptation isn't to hide who you are. It's used to communicate or function effectively. Some examples are speaking in a more formal way during a job interview than when hanging out with good friends, lowering your voice in a library, learning different cultural or social customs when you are traveling, adjusting your teaching style for different students, and choosing not to share as many personal thoughts in a professional meeting as you would when spending time with friends or family. Here are some differences between masking and adaptation. Masking hides the authentic self, while adaptation expresses the authentic self differently. Masking is motivated primarily by fear of rejection, while adaptation is motivated by effectiveness or respect for the situation the person is in. Masking creates inner conflict, while adaptation preserves inner alignment. Masking often feels draining, while adaptation usually feels manageable. The message behind masking is, I can't let them see the real me. While the message behind adaptation is, I'll communicate in a way that fits this situation. As you may be able to guess by now, masking costs more energy than adaptation because masking creates the burden of having a gap between your internal experience and your outward presentation. An example of the burden caused by masking is the decision to act cheerful even though you're overwhelmed, so no one thinks you are weak. This gap between your internal experience and your outward presentation forces your brain to manage two realities, your authentic experience and the scene you are trying to portray through your persona. With these two realities, to manage your attention is constantly required. Faced with the same feeling of overwhelm, with adaptation, you realize, I'm overwhelmed, but this meeting isn't the place to discuss it. I will speak with my manager about it later. With adaptation, you choose the time and place to communicate, but you don't hide what you're experiencing. Do we all mask sometimes? Of course. Most people from time to time will suppress their feelings or adjust their behavior for social reasons. It's when masking is constant because someone feels that they need to hide their personality, identity, or needs in most situations that it is a significant issue. Over time, this constant masking can lead to emotional exhaustion, burnout, disconnection with yourself, difficulty knowing what you really want or feel, fear of being found out, or a realization that relationships have been built on a character rather than a real person. While adaptation is considered a healthy social skill, constant masking creates a gap between who you really are and who you think you must be. When that gap can be reduced, it frees up energy for genuine relationships, creativity, and greater resilience. Let's talk a little about the emotional cost of pretending to be someone you're not. For one thing, it can feel lonely. Why is that? It's ironic, actually, because when you pretend to be someone else, it is often to receive something you're craving, like praise, affection, or acceptance, so you can feel connected with someone or something. But that acceptance is directed toward that persona you have adopted, not toward who you believe you really are. Then you may start questioning what's real. For example, you may ask, if they knew the real me, would they still like me? Or think, I'm surrounded by people, but I still feel alone. Over time, the emotional cost starts building. You may notice that you're feeling drained after an ordinary conversation. You may need long periods of time alone to recover from your interactions. You may find yourself feeling irritable or emotionally burned out. You may literally feel like you're wearing a mask. You may lose sight of what you really want because you're so focused on what others expect of you. And you may find yourself feeling increasingly disconnected from your own values and identity. In contrast, often people tend to feel lighter, more connected, and less anxious when they feel safe to express themselves more honestly. This doesn't mean sharing everything with everyone. Part of healthy authenticity is choosing the situations and relationships where you increasingly share your true thoughts, values, and emotions without feeling you must maintain a false persona. There's a strong connection between authenticity and vitality. Pretending to be someone you are not isn't just emotionally exhausting, but it decreases vitality. That feeling of aliveness, presence, energy, engagement, and motivation. When you are pretending to be someone you're not, so much of your energy goes into monitoring what you do and say, suppressing genuine emotions, trying to meet others' expectations, dealing with fear of rejection, and trying to stay true to the role you play. There isn't enough energy for creativity, curiosity, relationships, problem solving, enjoyment, and personal growth. There's no room for extras when you're just trying to get through the day. When your behavior aligns with your authentic self, you don't have to work so hard to maintain an image. Then you have access to more enthusiasm, prolonged motivation, better focus, more confidence, greater emotional resilience, an increased sense of purpose. It's not that if you're authentic, there will be no challenges in life, nor will it guarantee constant happiness, but it leaves you with more energy because you're not spending it maintaining a false self. Instead, your energy can be spent doing meaningful activities, building positive relationships, and doing things that promote personal growth. So what if you want to reclaim your energy to enjoy these benefits in your life? Well, it's not about becoming a completely different person overnight. It's about gradually decreasing the amount of effort you put into maintaining a persona that doesn't reflect who you are. When you make small but consistent changes over time, you free up emotional and mental energy. Here are 5 practical steps that you can take. Number 1, notice where you're wearing a mask. Before you can make any change, you first need awareness. You can ask yourself, in which situations do I feel like I'm performing rather than simply being myself? Around whom do I feel relaxed and genuine? When do I feel most drained after social interactions? Asking yourself these questions can help you to pinpoint situations in which you spend the most energy on self-monitoring. For example, you may find that when you spend time with close friends, you feel energized. But when you're trying hard to seem perfect at work, you are exhausted by the time you leave the workplace. Number 2, identify the fear behind the pretending. Generally, if someone is pretending to be someone they're not, it is for a perceived benefit. Many times it protects us from something we fear, such as rejection, criticism, conflict, disappointing others, looking incompetent, or not being accepted. If you understand what the underlying fear is, you can then determine whether the mask is still needed or if it's costing you more than it protects you. Number 3, align your actions with your values. When you are being authentic, it doesn't mean you act on every impulse you feel. It means choosing that which truly matters to you. You can ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? What values are most important to me? Are my daily choices consistent with those values? For example, if honesty is one of your top values, you may start to respectfully give your opinions instead of always agreeing with others to avoid criticism. If you value creativity, you may make sure you have time for creative activities, even if it means not putting someone else's interests first. With each act of alignment, you are narrowing the gap between your inner and outer selves. Number 4, practice authenticity in safe relationships. You don't have to let everyone know everything about you. In fact, authenticity develops most effectively in relationships where there is trust and you perceive it's safe to express yourself. Within these relationships, you may practice expressing your authenticity by sharing your genuine opinions, admitting when there's something you don't know, expressing how you honestly feel with respect, asking for help when you need it, or setting healthy boundaries. When you increase your authenticity around those with whom you feel safe, you are most likely to have positive experiences of being accepted, which can begin to decrease the fear that contributed to the conscious or unconscious decision to pretend. And number 5, accept that not everyone will approve. One of the biggest energy drains is attempting to get everyone to approve of you. As you become more authentic, you will likely see that some people will be more appreciative of you. Some relationships may change, and some people will not agree with your choices. This is very typical as you begin to live by consistently adhering to your values. Your focus shifts from trying to make everyone like you to behaving in ways that reflect who you feel you are. Over time, engaging in this 5-step process can take you from emotional exhaustion to greater vitality. It frees up the energy spent on managing others' impressions to use to improve relationships, increase creativity, learn, and participate in personally meaningful activities. While authenticity is not about being unfiltered, it helps you to decrease the gap between who you are on the inside and the way you consistently show up in the world. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to ask yourself, where in my life am I spending energy trying to be someone I'm not? You don't have to change everything overnight. Sometimes the most powerful step is choosing one small moment today to show up a little more authentically. Comment down below. Well, that's it for now. Please like, comment, and share this video, and subscribe to my channel to know when the next video drops. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more tools for exploring your intuition, creativity, and self-awareness for a freer, more conscious life. See you soon.